guys, I'm Kristen. I am an artist and a shop owner. I like to talk about all things art and take you backstage for my own shop, Crescent Crown Designs. Today we're going to be talking all about watercolors. I personally love watercolor painting. While I'm still fairly new to it, it's such a whimsical and freeing art medium, I feel like, and it's really loose and pretty, and it's just so fun to build on things with it. So I'm really excited to show you the different kind of materials and what I use for my watercolor paintings today. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to start with paper because you need something to work on, obviously. While you can definitely use, computer paper or something like that, buying specialty watercolor paper is always going to be the best option for you, just because it does allow for a wet medium. It kind of lets it soak into the paper, and it lets things flow nicely. So it's really important, I think, to get some watercolor paper. You can definitely find some inexpensive paper. What I like to practice on is actually this Canson watercolor paper. I don't recall the price, but I'll link it in the notes down below. And when you open it up, it's definitely more of a practice sheet for me because it's more, you can tear it out and things like that. But it definitely has that nice toothy material. It's nice and thick, so you can definitely get lots of water in there while you're layering up your paintings. I also have this Pro Art little pad here. I bought it mostly because I thought I would be doing a lot of landscapes and a lot of scenery pictures. And as you can see on the cover there, it's like really nice for that kind of thing, a nice long horizontal shot. So it's also 140 pounds, just like the other one. Really nice material. And then what my favorite one currently is this Strathmore Vision watercolor paper. What I like most about it is, if you can see, the cover's coming off, but if you can see right here, these sheets are kind of almost like bound up here, and they come off really easily, and they have like a nice smooth edge. So it's really great, I think, for displaying and framing. So when I'm like really ready to commit to a painting that I like and want to see a good finish, I guess you could say, I'll always grab this kind of paper here. I also, when I do, like, not every painting is going to be perfect. So when I do, I will try and keep these scraps of paper so I can use it as swatches for when I'm kind of like testing out colors or mixing colors to kind of see what it looks like on watercolor paper, or even like layered up here. So I like to keep a piece of that on hand as well. So next we're going to talk about the paint. So you can, of course, always use those little tray ones, that you can find it anywhere. You remember them from when you were kids. But if you really want to get involved in watercolors and kind of learning more about how they mix and how they flow and really seeing that pigment, I would suggest getting tube watercolors. So here I have, this is just like, I guess your basic color palette. I got it as a set, and it wasn't too bad of a price, I don't think. What's so great is that these little tubes last forever. I probably had this a couple of years, and like a little goes a long way because half your base is water. So the brand I use is Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors. Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors. So you can see a little tube right there, what it looks like. And like I said, they last a really long time. And I've used those basic colors pretty much the entire time I've been doing watercolors, but I also, they sell more colors, obviously. So I've also additionally purchased a nice dark green and a nice pink, so I don't have to mix my own pink, because who has time for that sometimes, What I also ended up doing was purchasing this large palette. You might have seen it if you follow watercolor artists, and putting some of the tube colors in here. It keeps it all at hand, and it prevents you from having to like open another tube or like pull out another one, like how much do I need? And what's also really great is right here you can start to like mix colors right here on the pan. So I've really enjoyed that as well, and since you just get it wet again when you're ready to paint, obviously. So then I also want to talk about brushes, because what are you going to do? What are you going to paint with? You got to paint with something. And I would not use those brushes you got in the arts and crafts store. So what I like to use are these Princeton round, I think they're artificial, oh I can't remember what kind of artificial they are, but here you can kind of see the branding right there. But I have like a whole set of them. They're all red. You can tell they all belong together. And they really range in size here. You can see my biggest one is a 10. And my littlest guy is a little 2/0. So this gives me a lot of variety for making finer lines and coloring things in and getting that wash, or if I just want to freehand some watercolor brush lettering, it's really great for that too. And they've been really great brushes so far. Lasted a long time, kept their shape. I've really enjoyed them. Another really important thing to have is 2 glasses of water with you. So the reason you need 2 glasses of water is not to drink, not one to drink, one to paint with, but rather you're going to have one for your dirty paint, like your dirty water. You're going to have one that's fresh, clean water, because you'll learn as you go through watercolor painting that you want one to like wash your brush off with to get a new color, but you want one that's just pure plain water that you're gathering water with it before you pick up the pigment, because you never want the other one to get dirty, because if you start like say you have dirty water and you use that water to like dip into yellow, eventually like your stuff's going to become all brown, all murky. So you want to keep that one clean water as well. So next I also want to talk about learning watercolor. So of course you have your supplies, but like what do you do with them? So I'm still on this journey myself. I'm definitely not a professional watercolor artist, but I like to learn from ones that are. So the first thing I have for you guys is Everyday Watercolor. It is by Jenna Rainey, who I also follow on Instagram. She's an amazing watercolor artist, and she does a really good job in this book breaking things down for you, like layer by layer. You'll learn very quickly that you have to layer watercolors to get the details you want. And depending on like, you know, wet on wet, wet on dry, things like that. This book is broken down as like daily challenges, I guess. So you can learn one painting a day, which has been really neat. And you create cool things like this. I really like this book. And she does a great job explaining it, like I said. You get to see the light, how the light works against it. It's a lot of florals, a lot of kind of like scenes, like this is a desert scene and a jungle scene. So it's a really great book. I would highly recommend it. And then I'll show you some of my own work, and again, not an expert. Some of the things that I've gotten to play around with as I've gone through it. So this is just kind of like playing with how things spread into each other, which is really fun. Like I said, it's a very loose, very like free medium, and it's really exciting to kind of see where it takes itself almost. I've also done a little bit of brush lettering here. So with watercolor lettering, I really like that you can get these dark and light hues just as your paintbrush runs out of that ink and just has more water in it. I also really enjoy mixing watercolor and ink pens. It gives you like it's almost like you have control of the ink pens, and then you have the flow with the watercolors. And of course, watercolor galaxies, always a favorite. Sometimes you can get a little more precise with it, so you can see I kind of outline things here. It's not as fun when it's so rigid, I guess. So I particularly prefer the looseness of it, but just so you can see that you can have precision if you want it in watercolor as well. And then of course, watercolor florals. I think that watercolor just does so well with florals because they're both just so, I think it's just like the light and the movement of flowers and of watercolors just pair so well together. So I always love doing watercolor florals. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is actually digitizing watercolors. So you can do so much with your watercolor paintings, and then if you come to a point where you want to share those or sell them with the world, you have to be able to digitize those paintings, which can kind of get a little scary. So when I kind of looked into that as I got more into watercolors, what I found was a course by, her name is Jessica. She runs Simply Jessica Marie. and she's a fantastic watercolor artist, like beautiful, beautiful things. She specializes in crests for weddings and families. She does like pet portraits and people portraits. Gorgeous ginger jars. What I have bought from her is this really pretty Moscow mule print. I love Moscow mules, and it's just, you can really just see the skill that she has with watercolors. So she's just such a great teacher, and not only does she have the digitizing watercolor class that I've taken from her, but she also has some beginner watercolor classes, some intermediate ones. So if you're really looking for a hands-on experience, I think she'd be a great resource for you guys as well, to really get to like learn watercolors from someone who's mastered it, who's really good at it. So you can just definitely check her out. I'll put her website in my notes and stuff too, along with all of the things that I use for my watercolor paintings and the book I just talked about. Definitely want to make sure you guys have those resources at your disposal, and that you guys are able to enjoy watercolor paintings. Again, like I said, it's such a fun art medium to like play with and practice and learn. Whether you plan on doing it, you know, professionally or selling anything, it's just, I like to use it honestly as just like a wind down and like an artistic escape kind of thing. So I think that with these materials and with a little bit of help or practice, you'll really go a long way with them. So yeah, so I just want to thank you guys for being with me today, and I hope you guys picked up some fun materials you're gonna run out and buy. Maybe you found a new person to follow to learn about watercolors, or a new book to buy. Learning new art forms is always exciting, it's always fun, and I really wish you guys the best of luck in mastering that yourself. I would love to see your paintings, or if you end up buying this book or going to take Jessica's course, like, please let me know. I'd love to hear about that. You can also follow me or tag me. I'm at Crescent Crown Designs for my shop, and I would love to just like see that and cheer you on and share that moment with you, and watch you get inspired and watch you create things. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe if you like. Wait. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and also like it. I'm really excited to bring you guys more art content and some behind the scenes of my product shop. And I'm really just excited, and I really just want to see you guys live your best creative life. Thanks. Have a good day.